Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shonisani. Likewise, here what we do, pay attention to the Word of God. We explore the Word of God. And today, I just want us to do it a little bit different. It is good to read the Word of God. It is good to talk about God, but it's also good to live what the Word says. So today, I want us to be talking about on how to respond on the road rage experiences, life experiences. I am not trying to auto-tune you or trying to give you ways on how to behave because I'm telling you, no matter how much you can listen to this video, you are not going to respond perhaps the way I respond. But spending time in the Word of God and knowing the Word of God and investing time in exploring the Word of God will actually form part of the build up of how you talk, how you think, and how you can react when situation arises that are not on your control and that perhaps you were not ready for. So, as children of God, God has blessed us with cars. They are blessings, they actually make our mobility to be very much simpler. And we find ourselves driving on the same road as people that are not yet saved, people who are drunk, people with problems, family matters, marriage problems, people with problems in the workplaces, people who just have got that adrenaline rush. We find ourselves in the midst of those people that perhaps they are rushing. There's an emergency they are rushing to, and that makes them to drive in a certain manner that is perhaps not acceptable or that is not worthy according to the road signs that are in that kind of road that you'll be traveling on. So I have found myself on three instances where um, I experienced road rage. And the first one that I remember was when I was driving from work and I was very much hungry. I just wanted to pass by the garage to get something to eat, something to snack. So I was driving on this road, and that road, it was a two lane, but I didn't know that road orientation. So I ended up keeping the right. And when I kept the right, I was approaching the robot and the stop. So the right was only right turning right and not proceeding. So on that situation, I had to think quickly and act quickly. So I observed quickly on my left and I saw a little bit of space that I can just get in and continue proceeding straight because I wasn't turning right. So I did just that. And when I did that, I had a hoot, and the driver that was driving that I actually cut across started hooting at me. But I proceeded driving until I got to the garage and I was mugged. That day I was mugged, and as soon as I got into the garage, that man drove right behind me until I get to the garage, and he just parked the car and got out of the car and came straight onto me and knocked on my window. And I looked. When I looked, I observed that that is the car that I actually cut across while I was driving. And when I saw that, I didn't even lower the window. I just didn't want to pay attention. I just folded my hands and I just say sorry. Then I proceeded with what I was doing. But he kept standing there and swearing. I could hear him very much disturbed. But I didn't want to participate because I have already said my sorry. And he just left and got into his car and left. My God, I was so scared. I was so scared, I'm telling you. My heart was pounding, but I thank God that I didn't participate. I didn't fuel that conversation and that rage that he had on someone cutting on him without him expecting. I mean, we do that, we do such kind of mistakes. And it is one lesson that I learned that no matter how much opportunistic I become on the road, I must always consider even if I've made a mistake, I must actually allow my mistake to be made and not make others to make mistakes as well. So the second situation was when I was coming from work again and I was driving on the highway. And as I was driving, I think me and the other driver, we thought of doing the same thing at the same time. And I was actually wanted to overtake, and she also wanted to overtake. And I noticed that she wanted to overtake, but I proceeded, and she stopped. She didn't, because if she were to, we were going to collide. Then from then I noticed that that lady was very much angry at me proceeding with the overtaking, um, going in front of her, and she wanted to come in front of me on the other lane. But she was not happy at all. She ended up also going to the other lane and drove parallel with me. And I glanced at her and I saw that she was talking and pointing fingers, showing that she's very much disturbed of how I've driven. I just folded my arms up and said sorry. Then I proceeded up, and she kept on driving with me parallel at the same pace. Like, it's like she wanted to know who's doing this. And I was scared. I was like, oh my God. There are those things that happen on the road where you think of doing the same thing at the same time. We are human, we're people. But somehow God coordinates it in a way that it ends up not maybe being in a car accident or being very bad experience. So I just reduced my speed and I let her pass, and calmly I continued driving, but I was feeling bad. So I also didn't do the same as she was doing, pointing fingers and talking and something like that. Those sign language that you can see that this person is very much irritated by what I've done. So the third experience was when I was parking in the parking lot at the mall. So there was this other man just standing in, not indicating, and I came in and I was indicating that I'm gonna go there. When that car goes, indeed, I went in and I parked. And he was very much angry that I took his parking spot. So as soon as I got out of the car, he found another parking spot and he parked. And he waited for me to get out of the car. And when I did that, he went out and he started shouting at me, that is my parking spot. I've been waiting for that parking spot. Why did you take my parking spot? And to be honest, it was an old man. And with all respect of old or respecting older people, I didn't respond back to him. I just said, sorry, I didn't notice that you were indicating, honestly. Otherwise, I was not going to park there. Then I observed him walking, and he was walking in a rush. He quickly went to the Pick and Pay liquor. So I was just relieved. I didn't even complain on that. I didn't even have after effects because I knew that that man was thirsty. He wanted some beer, perhaps, just to calm his thirst after a long working day. So, but I didn't talk back. I didn't fight with him. I didn't say things back that he was saying to me. I'm stupid, something like that. So the reason why I'm saying this is that as children of God, we really need to be careful everywhere we are, especially on the road, because there are so many things that are happening on the road. Not everyone is saved. Not everyone knows the word of God. The word of God in the book of Colossians, chapter 4, verse 6, it says, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how to ought to answer to each one. So you need to receive God for you to have grace in your speech. You really need to know about the word of God because it shapes how you talk, how you behave. It really shapes how you think as well, and how you observe things, how you tolerate and allow other people to live. So if your mouth has got grace, if your speech has got grace, you will not find yourself cursing back when you get cursed and wanting to retaliate back. You will remember to give another cheek when you are slapped on another cheek. So, children of God, we have got cars and we are still Christians. We still drive on the same road. And wherever you are driving to or fro, remember to keep the grace in your mouth, and not just on your mouth, but also on your whole body. Because the way you act, the way you point, the way you behave in your body, it also can show how graceful you are. So I have actually been in a car accident sometime. I think I will just talk about it sometime. And to be honest, I wasn't ready and I didn't know how to behave. But when I observed back the way that I have behaved, it is all unto the glory of God. I remember the traffic officer asking me if I'm a pastor. And I said, no, I'm not a pastor. I'm just a child of God. And if it was God who was involved in this car accident, or rather Jesus, how was he going to behave? So, yes, I will upload it sometime, but not today. Perhaps today we were talking about the road rage, how to behave, how to respond to the road rage when you come across one as a child of God. But in all fairness, remember, let your mouth have got grace. Let your speech has grace. Season with salt so that you would know how to respond to everyone at all times. So be blessed, child of God, and enjoy your life as a Christian going ahead. And may God protect you when those road rages, okay? And may the Spirit of the Lord help you to respond to such, because your life is important and the life of the person who is bringing the rage is also important. We are all on the journey and we want all of us to get to heaven. So remember that and be considerate as the child of God. May God bless you and enjoy.